So we are back to talk about some more Radiant, and I've actually been doing a little reading of the series, since the last time we talked about mainly the fact that I've read the first 3 chapters that are available to read series, and with Volume 1 arriving on my door. So yeah, it's safe to say after the first episode of this series, I ended up getting very curious more about the world and a lot more about what was going on with the first episode, because I heard some interesting things. I had to check it out, and one of the most important things is we are technically still in the first chapter of the manga, like, to say the least, because at the end of the day, whether you want to call it a comic-inspired manga, I'll just call it manga at the end of the day, like on there, it's pretty much what it's going for at the end of the day. This first chapter, I should say, is really long. Now, I don't know with the publication of this series whether or not this is a monthly series, whether or not this comes out once a week. Again, there's not a lot of information really about how the publication is online, apart from that it gets translated and they put it out on in Japan volumes in that way. I don't think they actually translate the chapters and put them in a magazine per se. I don't think that's how exactly they do with Radiant, but Chapter 1 is 110 pages. It's I believe it's over 100 pages of material. And I'm like, okay, alright then, that's a lot. Where a lot of the days I'm normally used to seeing the first chapter being handled normally in the first episode to maybe even something like that. Because a lot of the time studios are used to handling 50 pages or even 40, sometimes with a first chapter 30, and it's and especially with how a lot of the material's being changed around, there are a lot of scenes that are playing out in different orders, that how a lot of characters are meeting one another and everything, due to mainly the Bravery Quartet, some of the things handled with them, some of the stuff with Alma, and also as well the fact that there's not a character that even exists in this version, which in the actual manga is Tommy stuff, which I was they changed a lot of things around to show that Seth is more of a goofball, although he tries his best in there, but in the anime it's just oh, he tries, but don't worry, he at least has one friend that kind of gives him the reason not to hate this entire village, because boy, these villages are actual scumbags. They are just horrible people, no matter how they care. I mean, they're in a dire situation, but the way how they treat both Alma and Seth, it is the worst. As we get to see at the end, the Bravery Quartet, who are a bunch of goofball sorcerers who are don't worry, we will protect these citizens and all that, and sorcerers, that is what we're doing. And everyone's well, it's Seth's fault in the first place for doing this, you sorcerers and all that, and I'm these guys are literally trying to save you right now. Or at least anyway, how it's being interpreted before you see some things happen with the Bravery Quartet. It's these guys are trying to save you, and that's the first thing you immediately go out and blame them for. And it's and even you see Don Bossman, I believe is his name, but Don is no, don't be like that, we're birds in a feather. As you can see, he pulls off this giant magic cap, and he had, it is a thing with sorcerers that they have this kind of thing affecting kind of their body or what have you. So with, Seth, he has the little horns around his head, showing, kind of something, demonic looking, or, something at least that's off with their body. And you see with Don, he has, these little bat wings, implanted in his head, and, a tail and everything, and I'm again, he kind of understands him. He's and he uses Seth in a way where it's alright, we're going to be a decoy, you can go and take care of them. Can you at least, and all that, just, deal with this thing at the moment while we take care of the citizens and what have you. He's yeah, sure, let's go. And it's hey, we need to go to the bank right now, Tommy, your dad's there, let's go over there. And it's alright then, that explains with one scene then how they're going to get to there. I was alright, so interesting thing that Tommy's actual father is the guy that runs the bank. I'm alright. However, as Seth is they're fighting around, he's sometimes you gotta use your head a little bit, kid, and all that. And he's what can I do? Alright, I'll tie the chains up on the thing, I'll do that. Alright then, let's go around here. And he's oh, I'll take care of it. And pretty much he ties up the entire creature, and I believe in the manga version that he leaves it there and it breaks free later, and then it comes to the bank on there, but with scenes playing out differently, which we find out that the Bravery Quartet, oh, they're not really great guys at all. Shocker. They're actually using this opportunity to roll banks, and and they look towards Seth and look, you did good, and they even give them a bit of money, and it's look, at the end of the day, kid, these guys are pieces of shit. Look how they're treating you. And then they even spin this, the citizens spin the story they've been working with him the entire time. That's why he was with Tommy. That's why he was friends with him, because his dad was a bank and he knew what was the layout of the place was. And I'm oh my god, you guys are jumping to fucking conclusions. This kid has literally been trying to help you for fucking years, and it's like, immediately like, oh, if we ever get out, or what we're gonna do to you and Alma, Seth. Like, I'm like, oh my, you guys are ass. And Seth, even still, after like punching the Don guy right in the face, and he's like, no, this is not why I want to be a sorcerer, bud. And like, even Don's like, yeah, I tricked you, and yeah, you need to stop being an idiot, Seth. Like, at the end of the day, we use this as an opportunity to like get rid, and it's like, I told you, you gotta think smart about these things. So us sorcerers are gonna think smart and actually rob these people, so we don't have to get ourselves involved in them, because fuck these people. And again, Seth is like, no, because he has a dream, like every little boy shonen protagonist does. Like, I have a dream to become the best sorcerer and eradicate all the creatures around here. It's like, I plan to do that, and he ends up punching the living shit out of Don, like blasting him through like part of the bank wall, and it was like, and then we find out that the weird joke character is actually really seriously powerful, and I'm like, oh, okay, then if he is saying like Gigi wasn't such an idiot, he would actually be the boss, and I'm like, oh, alright then, I guess he's powerful because he just knocks out Seth without at least any kind of effort whatsoever. And then they're like, look kid, we're leaving you with like a little bit of like, you can still move, and just like you're hanging in there. Just get out of here, kid. Like, you'll see eye to eye with us one day. Alright, you have enough strength to at least get yourself out. And then the kids are like the fucking father and like all that, but like, no, get out, curse you sorcerers and everything. It's like, oh, at least take my son with you. And I'm like, oh, again, like, fuck these citizens. Like, they do not deserve to fucking live. After like the way that they've been treating them, and like, yeah, no, it's two sides of assholes here, but no, the protagonist has to help because they're innocent people that just don't understand him. It's the Naruto thing again. Like, you kind of get that scenario where they're assholes to him, but they don't know the full story, and technically neither does Naruto, I guess. So again, you can see the series takes heavily from a lot of, like, it's inspired. It takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of those kind of series, like, to start off. And again, like, it gets a lot more interesting with at least with the chapters I've read further on. It's just a little bit weird how they've been handling some of this material, but then again, it's like they've added new characters that weren't in the original first chapter, and like a bunch of the other additional scenes, and like takes like pretty much mixed and matched a few things, because at the end we see the creature now about to do this giant blast attack, and Seth actually protects them with this defense spell that he gets, and he's like, his eyes are changing, and I'm like, oh, what's happening here? And maybe that's hinting something later on, like, that he has. I've seen like a volume cover that like Seth has a crazy little transformation or something, so I'm guessing that's kind of what it is. I mean, overall, like I said, I don't mind. I like the world so far. Like, the soundtrack is one thing that's been really catching my eye, is a lot with this series. I'm like, this is actually a really fun fantasy soundtrack that I'm catching on here. Again, I think this series is one of those ones where it's like, so far it hasn't done anything thoroughly impressive. Like, the second episode is like, oh, he was seeing that the main character has, you know, real potential and everything. I think, if anything, it has a bit of a slow pacing to go off, but I think once we finally get into full gears, once we finally get through like the first chapter material, which we won't until like the third episode, which is again, going into that's like 30 pages like per, like, I would say like that's normal pacing for like anime stuff like that, and I believe like the anime is only supposed to be 22 episodes as well, so I'm curious like with how they're going to be handling a lot of this stuff later on. Again, I know some people obviously read further on to the series, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to start reading this and seeing where the anime is going to be going, especially. So, overall, I mean, I still can't stop listening to that opening. That opening's fucking rad. I love it every time listening to it. But overall, like, again, I enjoyed it. It's nothing so far that has thoroughly impressed me, but I can see a bit of potential in this, so I am going to be sticking with this just to see where it's going to be going, and even if I don't keep covering it, I want to at least cover a few more episodes and see whether or not it goes from, how further it goes from there, because then that'll be out of the material I know, seemingly, so we'll wait and see. But that's all from me. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.